No, I have not just sat here for an hour and a half talking to myself without pressing the on button. Oh well, anyway. Richard French. Hello. So, yeah. Little book review. Kind of show you some of the books I like to read. Some of the things I'm interested in. Maybe a little bit of, maybe you'll learn something about me. Maybe I'll learn something about myself as I'm going along. We'll start off with those couple of weird things. Had a cinema built in my town recently. And, let's see that. There's a 50-foot mural of this astronaut, that Earth with the curve in the entrance to the cinema. Do you believe it? Do you believe that? No reinforcement going on around here. Oh, this one from H&M. Join in a global fashion movement for the planet. World Recycle Week. So we have global, planet and world on one page. I'm not going to show you the fashion at all. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? There's a quote from someone, I forget who it was, first they came for so-and-so and I didn't stand up, and then they came for me and there was no one left. I don't want to be the last one. You understand? I'm trying to help. I don't know how. Well, I can try and give you some information and maybe someone else can do something with it. Just going to read you a small thing I've written. It's just only 4 lines. Maybe every video I'll read another 4-lined set of words. Can't really call it poetry. I love words. Words are magic. Absolute magic. They can make you do all sorts of things. I'll read you 2 things very quickly. Okay. Words are the magic. Words the magic are. Magic are the words. The magic words are. Words are the magic. Words are the magic. Words are the magic. Words are the magic. Don't believe me? I don't care. My mum buys me books and stuff occasionally. She bought me this nice little stack of National Geographics. It's weird, I've got 2 here from December and November 2001. I know September. That's September 2002. I thought I saw it here at some point. No, it's gone. But never mind. Quick look at what's on them. Look. And this was all just before this flat Earth stuff started kicking off, and some of the subjects in these books, despite them being years old, are unusual to say the least. Look. This is Antarctica. Abraham, father of the 3 faiths, or 3 faiths. And this one. Russia. Untold Stories of D-Day. I'm going to look through that at some point. Get some of these ones. Recognise this fella? No. The first pioneer. A new find shakes the human family tree. Oh, really? And this one. I mean, that last one was 2002, November 2006. Earliest child. 3.3 million year old bones discovered. 3.3. Well, hello, little man. "2006, the greatest journey ever told. The trail of our DNA." Very odd. This one. Under Rome. Them things everywhere, aren't they? There's some of them under France, Paris and stuff. All them skulls, man. Little meerkat. No, I'm not gonna fucking meerkat. Okay, so what types of books do I like? I like fantasy, science fiction. You know. Terry Brooks just made his Shannara series into a TV program. You know. Tolkien, of course. David Gemmell. I'm going to do a program just for that man on his own, and his amazing wife. His amazing wife who wrote a strange book going from politics into fantasy after her husband had died. And my goodness, that book will tell you some magic stuff. But yeah, David Gemmell, amazing. Yeah, Bob Salvatore. Terry Pratchett. I'm not a big fan of the Discworld novels, but I do like a few of Terry Pratchett's books. There's some of these I'm showing me. Anyone know this one? The Carpet People. This whole little universe that exists just within sort of a carpet-sized realm. The Master Storyteller's debut novel. His very first book. Not in a series or not part of the Discworld, but still a good book. Allegorical, is that the word? He does that with a lot of his books. Like these three. Oh boy, did they make my brain tick. You like these? Truckers. Diggers. I'm just going to read something from the first chapter, first line. I won't have to read much before you'll understand something that I didn't get as a young man, that I only got recently. In the beginning, there was the site. And Arnold Brothers, established 1905, moved upon the face of the site and saw that it had potential. Do I need to go on? You understand what these books are about? People must read these. These are fascinating. So apart from his flat Earth Discworld, swimming around on a turtle, what else did Mr. Pratchett do? I was trying to find his I have the illustrated version of Colour of Magic. I can't find it anywhere. And there's some interesting pictures. That story is interesting. The color of magic. And there's these images of astronauts going over the edge. The Color of Magic, Terry Pratchett, the illustrated book. Someone's got it. Let's see them pictures. Anyway, look. Terry Pratchett, Stephen Baxter, The Long Earth. Parallel worlds and other things. All reached by dirigibles. Stephen Baxter, proper scientist, wrote some proper books, wrote a lot of fantasy too, collaborating with Terry Pratchett, the master of fiction and fantasy. I don't really think he's the master, but he's good, if he's what he says he is. What got me into books of this nature was this one. I'll come back to it. And this one. Talisman. I should just read the back of this one for you. Did a highly cultured, forgotten race spread across the globe tens of thousands of years ago? Were they originally a spiritual people who became progressively more decadent and materialistic until they were annihilated in a global disaster? Was this a karmic catastrophe? And does their experience serve as a dire warning to us? What was this book like? 20 years ago? Something like that? I wonder if it says. 2003. For nearly a decade, Ian Lawton has striven to unveil the enigmas of the ancient religious texts and traditions from all over the world to determine what they reveal about our earliest ancestors and the fate that befell them. His conclusions are unlike anything you have read before. That was good. That was good. I read that at least twice. Started reading it a third. It is a very interesting book, and boy does it make you think. I can't get anyone else to want to borrow it though. I've lent lots of books out over the years. I don't get many of them back. I don't care. It's not what I lend them for. But no one wants to read this one. Genesis Unveiled. A couple of people have taken this one, and they generally give it back without having finished it. I read this one twice. I bought it at about the same time as I bought this one. And it was after that I tried finding these guys on the internet, on the Tinternet, the World Wide Web. Mr. Hancock, Mr. Baval. We'll come back to them another time, hey? Weird Synchronicities. Books bought for me last year. My nephew bought me this one. Nazi Gold. Nazi Gold. Let's read the first bit, shall we? Sensational story of the greatest robbery and the greatest criminal cover-up the world has ever known. It was 1945. Allied bombers were pounding Berlin to rubble. In desperation, the Nazis started moving the assets of the Berlin Reichsbank south for safekeeping. Vast trainloads of gold and currency were evacuated from the doomed capital of Hitler's 1,000-year Reich. In the aftermath of total war, a huge amount of Nazi gold simply vanished. Removed by the Red Army or stolen by an unholy combination of US occupation personnel and unscrupulous ex-Nazis. I haven't read it yet. I shall. But I just thought it was odd that a 17-year-old would buy this for me. They both like the Call of Duty Nazi zombies. Maybe that was why he bought it. I think he wants me to read it and tell him whether it's any good. We shall see. An odd book, nonetheless, to have been bought last year by someone not interested in this subject at all. And when I mentioned the Flat Earth to him, he just rolled his eyes. Funny that was. And this one my mum bought me. Dava Sobel. So be back. Longitude. I never noticed something else either. Can you see that? Pop science. I've got some more about pop science in a minute. Longitude is the dramatic human story of an epic scientific quest. The longitude problem was the thorniest dilemma of the 18th century. Lacking the ability to measure longitude, sailors throughout the great ages of exploration had been literally lost at sea. At the heart of Dava Sobel's fascinating brief history of astronomy, navigation and horology stands the figure of John Harrison. John Harrison. Self-taught Yorkshire clockmaker and his 40-year obsession with building the perfect timekeeper. Battling against the establishment, Harrison stood alone in the pursuit of his solution and the £20,000 reward offered by Parliament. Pop science. My mum bought me that last year, and she's not interested in this stuff. I tried bringing up the old William Shakespeare controversy with her. Nah, she didn't have none of it. Of course William Shakespeare was real. Of course he was. Of course he was. My mum also bought me another book last year. I can't find it. I haven't searched online yet, but it's from a lady called Claire something. And the book's called Falling Kingdoms. Falling Kingdoms. Weird, hey? More interests of mine. Star Trek, of course. Big Star Trek fan. Another book my mum bought me. It's just an empty logbook. Just an empty logbook. As promised, coming up, Fritz Zwicky. Not Franz, Fritz. Guitarist for Queen, not the Queen. Moon buff. Nerd. Mr. Lintop. Sky at Night presenter. You know, when it first started coming out, this flat Earth thing, people spoke about the Earth images and the same Apollo images being used for years. And I thought, that's nonsense, man. I thought, that's nonsense. I've got loads of books on space. And the Atlas. Look at this, look at this. Look at this, look at this. Didn't even notice it before. Let me show you something in here. The illustrated World Atlas. Look. First picture. My other one. I've dropped. isn't this going well? Anyway, look. Look at this. So you've got a signature on it. Frank Borman, Apollo 8. So, in the back of this book, bang, some biographies. Walter Bard, Chandra Scar, Einstein, of course, Arthur Stanley Eddington, Fred Hoyle, Edwin Hubble, Gerard Kuiper, Bernard Lovell, Carl Schwarzschild, Harlow Shapley. This one. Fritz Zwicky. I am just going to read this because there's some interesting stuff here. Oh boy, there's some interesting stuff. Zwicky, one of the most brilliant and most extraordinary astronomers of modern times, was born in Bulgaria. His parents were Swiss, and he always kept his Swiss nationality. He graduated from the University of Zurich, and in 1925 went to America to join the California Institute of Technology. He remained there for the rest of his life, teaching until 1968. He retired. Zwicky's first major contribution to astronomy concerns the life stories of very massive stars. He realized that when their nuclear fuel ran out, they would explode violently, and it was he who first coined the term supernova. So, I mean, he went on to discover a few, more than most people expected. And anyway, yeah, he did a lot with supernova. But look, listen, we'll carry on. Zwicky also studied the ways in which stars and galaxies move, and he realized that a galaxy cluster will soon disperse, if not glued together, by matter that we cannot see. In fact, this was the first mention of the dark matter that modern astronomers have come to believe dominates the universe. All this was brilliant research, but Zwicky was an unusual sort of person, and to say that he was irascible is to put it mildly. Anyone who disagreed with him was automatically regarded as a mortal enemy. He was immensely strong and made a habit of doing handstands in the dining hall of the observatory to make sure that everybody was aware of it. He referred to his colleagues as spherical bastards. Spherical because he maintained that they appeared to be bastards no matter from which direction you looked at them. He was convinced that others were stealing his ideas without giving him credit, and he was particularly venomous about Edwin Hubble. On one occasion, he opened the slit of the observatory dome and ordered his night assistant to fire bullets through it, claiming that this would improve the seeing. It did not, obviously. When Zwicky retired, it is not likely that many of his colleagues were sorry to see him go. but at least he had made outstanding contributions to astronomy, and these were of the greatest value to the spherical bastards who followed him. Fritz Zwicky, 1898 to 1974. Spherical bastards, hey? Spherical bastards. Science fiction, fantasy in general. That was my staple reading stuff when I grew up, you know, fantasy. Maybe why I'm a little bit more open to some of this, a bit more, you know. It's easier for me to accept some of these strange ideas floating around than for others. Maybe that fantasy element had a hand in it. There's loads of authors I read as a child. There's loads of authors I still read now. But there's one that stands out to me. And he has done for a long time. And even more so in the past year. And despite me not having read his books in the past year, I've read all of his books many times. And this man is David Gemmell. And I will do a whole show on that man and all his books. And his amazing wife. And her amazing book, The City. By Stella Gemmell. But David Gemmell, man, he knew some stuff. He knew some stuff. James Herbert. James Herbert knew something. He knew something. I enjoyed his books immensely as a child. The Rats, The Dark, The Fog, all those ones. I still like them now. I particularly enjoyed his final book. I think it was called Ash. Third in the series. About a private investigator. Investigating ghosts. Taken to a private hotel, shall we say. Full of the rich and famous. Supposed dead people hiding out and living the rest of their lives in obscurity. And then he died of a heart attack. Oh, very unusual. Some of my favourite authors have died rapidly in the last 5 years. I'm either getting old or someone don't want me reading their books. David Gemmell was writing about the Romans, Troy, Atlantis, parallel worlds, God and the devil, shapeshifters and hybrids. He wrote about the future and the past. There was a touch of everything in his books. Everything. Boy, do I miss not being able to read a new one of his books. Boy, I miss that. Check out David Gemmell. We'll come back to him. More of my books, letting you know what I'm about. I haven't read The Nazi Gold. I haven't read that yet. I'll let you know what it's about. There it is. I have read this. This was good. This was fascinating. But they're not books I went and got myself. They're not books I went and got myself. These are the books I bought myself. The Robert Bauval and Graham Hancock books. Mr. Karku. Mr. Dawkins. Mr. Moore. Mr. Cox, Mr. Hitchens, Mr. Hawkins. I mean, there's loads of these guys. I've had some of these books a long time. My goodness me. My goodness me. Do they seem tied up into what's going on? I mean, just look, a devil's chaplain, the selfish gene, the greatest show on earth, the evidence for evolution. I read his evolution book. I read it cover to cover. And he made some fascinating points. His little analogy of the photographs. If you haven't read the book, read the book. His analogy of the photographs of one photo next to another, taken over many generations, after thousands of generations, the picture of the first person looking so different to the last person. And in between, all pictures in between, you cannot tell the difference between the closest pictures of themselves, but to take the first and the last, you would then see the difference. And I understood that. That made sense to me. There was, you know, I kind of look a bit like my mum. I kind of look a bit like my dad. I kind of look a bit like that. I had less hair than that. Well, if you took these pictures, and every generation you took another one, until you got to me, now I'd look like my dad. My dad wouldn't look like him. But if we've got a million pictures, a million ancestors is a lot, so okay, I'm exaggerating, but you understand, if I have a million pictures, who's to say that ain't what my great millionth granddad looked like? I don't know. Look at this, look at this. Let me show you this before we go on to them guys. We've got to go higher. Did man get here by evolution or by creation? I found this one amongst a whole load of other books. Let me show you some of these pictures of this. There I am again. I mean, yeah, my ancestor. Or is that the ancestors? You know, just native people with nicely styled hair. You see how nicely styled Adam and Eve's hair is? Isn't that beautiful? Cool, they had great barbs back then with the old twigs and leaves. I mean, I don't know. Can both be possible? I don't know. I do know that this thing here, this big black spot, this cave, I do know, as do you all, that there's been some fascinating art found in them caves. Some of them tens of thousands of years old. Did they do that with their nicely styled hair? Or did he do that with his big burnt stick? You know? Look at this book. This book is 1967. Got some weird stuff. Cuneiform letter. Can you see this? Some pictures in here. What do we got there? Look at this. No one ever else think of that? Sitting there in peace and tranquility, wondering where my next dinner's coming from, whether I can stay warm tonight. Must have been great back then. You know? In a world horrible place now. Fucking hell, all that warm food and shelter. God damn it. Look. There's this little chapter here on does life come from non-living matter? And I'm just going to show you the pictures on this, because I mean, maybe you can get what the rest of the chapter's about. But look. The wagon will not move by itself unless acted upon by an outside force. The ball will not pick itself up off the ground. Time produces disintegration, eroding cliffs. It is destructive, not constructive. So really. This is an old book that tries to marry science and the Bible. And it's odd. I've tried reading it a couple of times, but my goodness, there they are. Well dressed Adam and Eve, nice haircuts. Now, I'll just read you this little bit. All races descended from the first man and woman. Some developed more highly than others, building on accumulated knowledge. Some progressed for a time, then retrogressed. Others eventually became extinct. Yeah, that's all it says. Old book. Old book. Older than me. Look at this one. Can you see this? There is a small embossing. Can you tell who it is yet? No, I don't know about him actually. I don't know. Mr. Dickens. Yeah. Beautiful artwork. I love art. I love art. I shall show you some more of mine at some point, but I love art. Oh, goodness, look at this one. Naples. A beautiful drawing. I do believe it's those etchings. Were they etchings rather than a drawing? Not sure. The New Stamp Act. Can you see this? Although reduced to 1 penny, the freedom of the press remains fettered. Mr. Dickens, one of my older books. I'll come back to you. A book of runes. A book of runes. Why do I have a book of runes? They keep popping up. Absolutely everywhere. There is weird stuff going on all around. Look at a burned man on a tree. Kind of Christ-like figure there. Weird stuff there. Just in case the book gets lost, something called that. Okay, that. Ralph Blum. Look. An old book. First Aid. St. John's Ambulance Association. Again, some beautiful pictures. Not always correct. Look at this. Direct artificial respiration. Vinnie James says, don't do that anymore. Call an ambulance. Push down on the chest. Keep that blood pumping. Oh, yeah. Amazing book. Got all sorts of information in here for. It's not all correct now, I think. I think a lot of it has been. Who's this? G and Crit. You know who you are, G and Crit? What is blood? 1958 edition. Look at this one. Can you see that? Brothers in Arms. Oh, it's dark. A Tale of the Children's Crusade. Children's Crusade. Have you heard of that? Brothers in Arms. programs. This one. Something odd about the Druids. Something odd indeed. The Druids. So these are some of the books I have not read. But they're on my bookshelves and have been for a long time, for not so long some others. This one. What do I have to show you on here? Do you remember this one on longitude? Popular science. What type of book is this one? I don't know. But look what it says right there. Manny Mason's pictures. Manny Mason's pictures. Not a science book. Not a fiction book. Just a book. Just a book. So there's more of the books I've read. Brian Greene, read his books, a few of them, a couple of them, whatever. Got a few of his. I've done most of the Dawkins books now. I'm not sure I'm going to read any more of this man's books. God is not great. Politics. Brian Cox. You owe me some money, son. I bought your books, and they're rubbish. Full of stuff and nonsense. Apparently, why does E equals MC squared? I tried reading it. I still don't get it. I still don't get it. I have loads of that man's books. When he was on TV, people kept buying me his bleeding big old annuals. I like to give doubles away because I had so many. This man, Patrick Moore. Written with John Mason. I don't know if he is or not a Mason. I don't know what he does and didn't do in his personal life. I know he never married again after his love died when they was reasonably young. I know that he was interested in the moon and not the stars. I'd love to see his hand-drawn pictures of the moon. Loved his programs. Loved his program. Not so keen on it now. This one. Can you see this? The sky. Order and chaos. New horizons. A little symbol down the corner there. I have a picture on the back. Can you see it? 3 moons. Can you see it? Compass. I'll show you a couple of things. Sun worship. Look at this sun worship stuff. Look at this. The London Mosque. Look at that beautiful design there. Isn't that amazing? Sun worship. Pops up everywhere. Pops up everywhere. Look at this pictures here. Can you see this? Angels and things. I had something I wanted to show you. Phases of the sun and the moon. This book's got loads of things. Can you see that? Excellent little drawing. Here's old. It's kind of an internet book in your hands. This is amazing. Easy to read. Pleasing to the eye. Louis XIV depicted as the sun god. Alexander the Great. Really. These old engravings from ages ago about things they thought were in the sky. Can you see this one here? This is a good book. I enjoyed this one a lot. Small and easy to read. And just some amazing stuff to be found in here. Like the Three Kings and stuff. Yeah, these star charts and everything in here. I also have this other one, which I can't find. Called Yuri. Do appear to have misplaced the book, but never mind, never mind. We shall move on. I want to show you some magazines. (1215) the Magna Carta, or should I say, the year of Magna Carta. There's not too much about the Magna Carta, but more so of what England was like in the year of Magna Carta. Interesting book, interesting. Alex Bellos, Alex's Adventures in Numberland. Mathematics is fascinating. It's like its own kind of magic. Bad science. Ben Goldacre. That might make you cry, that one. That's got some odd stuff in it. Freakonomics. I didn't get that one. Something else I've always been interested in. Never stopped, and I don't think I ever will, despite what's occurring. The Romanovs. What did happen back then? Who were they? Where'd they come from? Really? Possibly? The Roman world. Just some of the things I'm interested in, and I will go into more depth on all of them at some point. I need you guys to know where I'm coming from. I have been interested in some of this stuff for all my life. All my life. Someone gave me this one. Look at that nice picture there. Can you see this? Check in at the Space Hotel. Really? Let me show you this quickly. There's me looking for that bloody book. It's right behind me. You're a Eureka! Science through the history. A little bit about everything. A little bit about everything. Creation of science, the early Greeks, the first scientific theories, men of the world, heavenly thoughts, the origins of the cosmos and of life. Eureka! Andrew Gregory. That was great. I really enjoyed it. 10 greatest scientists you've never heard of. So we got Svante Arrhenius, Fritz Haber, Willis Lamb, Ernst Stuckelberg. I bet most of you have no ideas who these are. Jean-Baptiste Perrin, Oswald Avery. Why have you not heard of these guys? I'll come back to this one again. Look at this one. Should we do these in order? (2008). Going backwards. (2005). So, 2008. Hubble's greatest pictures. I will show you some nice pictures from this one. In 2008. I was about 28 when I bought this. At the height of my fascination with all things spacey. Star Wars, Star Trek, Stargate. Although not the TV series, although I've heard it's good, it's not really for me. (2005). The Frontiers of Physics. No. These things. Beyond the Standard Model, String Theory's Future, Loop Quantum Gravity, Holographic Universe, Relativity Violations, Mysteries of Mass. Let me read you some more of the contents. Rethinking the Basic Laws of Nature. Insights into an old constant, a new hologram, and time. The search for relativity violations. The mysteries of mass. I'll read some of these articles at some point. 2005. I was going to go on with it, but 2007. 2007. The True Nature of Black Holes. I bought all these ones myself. I didn't buy that first one, that was bought for me, that BBC magazine. The rest of them I bought myself when they came out. I didn't pick them up later. 2007. This one, 2008. The Future of Physics. Hidden Natural Laws. Unseen Dimensions. 2 new particle colliders will search for answers at unimaginable energies. And also scanning for crime. RFID chips shrink to fight counterfeiters. Eh? This one on the back page. It's all falling apart now. Do antibacterial soaps do more harm than good? I wonder if you was onto something there. Coco Ballantine. Everyone heard about the tar sands in Canada? 50 years ago, Shell invested in the Athabasca oil sands in Canada without knowing when it could viably extract the oil. So 50 years before they knew they could even get it, whatever, 5 decades later, production from the oil sands is making Canada a global provider of oil. Sometimes it pays to persevere and to have a leap of imagination in the first place. Real energy solutions for the real world. Really. So when the LHC was going, like, coming revolutions in particle physics. Really? Oh, really? I tell you, there is some amazing stuff in those ones, and in the National Geographics. I'll go into them more at some point if people want to. Actually, I don't care if people don't. I want to do it anyway. These are just some of the books I like, some of the books I have in my collection, and I have a lot. I have lent a lot. I have been bought a lot. Here he is, and it's Ponzi fucking con artist. My bookshelf just seems to be full of full fantasy. I thought I was buying science. I thought I was educating myself. I thought I was teaching myself something useful, relevant, practical. Turns out the whole fucking lot is academic. What am I going to do? What are we all going to do? I'm not the best at these presentations at all. Not at all. I will get better, honestly. I just find it all a bit bizarre. Can't quite put my finger on it. You know what I mean? I think I've got some ideas. How can anyone be sure? A couple more curious books sitting on my side before I go. Can you see this? This is the Childcraft Encyclopedia. Parent Guide and Index. One of many. Given to me by a friend, or to our family by a friend. Crazy, I thought, giving me these beautiful books. Beautiful, barely, if ever, even touched books. Oh my goodness me. 1987, this is the 1990 edition. I'd like to go through them with you at some point and show you some, I don't know how to put it, dualistic inconsistencies. Do my brain in. There's a whole shelf full of them ones. So this one, another one I picked up somewhere. Yeah, that's 1950. I'm going to show you some odd things in this one that I've looked through. Look at the page I turned to straight away. Butterflies. Cocoa beanie. Can you see this? Cocoa beanie. Oh my goodness me. You know what the Z stands for? I shall show you. Cadbury. Cadbury Brothers Limited. Bourneville. Them fucking monkeys everywhere. She got some good stuff in here in some ways. It teaches about different types of grasses. And then look. 10 facts about Bourneville. Chocolate. Chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. Tartans. You should look into tartan. Not what I thought it was. 10 facts about Cadbury's. Sea cups. More toilet material. They got some great things in this one. Look at this guy. Plucking feathers. Industrially. Fuck that, they just got rid of the feathers now. Just have bald birds. Poor fucking things. Look at this stupid guy. What's he got here? Look. Shaving mirror. Mobile shaving mirror. Did they have more fun back then? I don't know. Look at this fucking dude. Can you see him? That's a big fella. Look at that keeper. Lion tamers. Yeah, fascinating. Another big fella. I'll go through that one at some point. Travel books. Dortmund, Prussia. Steinwach. Wach. Egyptian tour book. Can you see this? This is the Jules Verne Voyages. A selection of journeys throughout the world by road, rail, sea and air. An American in St. Catharines. Nefertari. Tales of the Riverbank. A brief history of Egypt and the Egyptian dynasties. And the Romans pop up here once again. So my books then. My books then. I have always been interested in science. The sky at night. I love it. I've always loved it. Someone fucking lied to me. there are some strange quotes I could give you from Star Trek and Star Wars, and it only makes sense to people interested in this subject at the minute. I don't know. I think they're doing a little quiz, not for my benefit or yours as such, but a little quiz to get me going, I suppose, start me talking, getting other people to ask questions if they're not sure of the answer. And I'll tell you, I'm going to surprise you. I'm not going to start my first quiz on space or science, or even on the fiction fantasy books that I like so much. The science fiction fantasy films and TV programs that I love. I'm going to do it on Friends, the TV series. Friends! Friends! I bet there's a lot you ain't noticed in that program. Even you that are awake. I think there's a lot of us not watching TV. I don't watch so much TV. The TV's always on still. Friends holds secrets, lies, magic, deceit. I no longer find it as funny as I once did. I no longer laugh at the same jokes I once did. And I don't look at the characters in the same way. I don't look at where they live in the same way. Everything's changed, doesn't it? And yet nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is, you know, in here. I'm still me. I'm still me. I still like shooting zombies on the Call of Duty. I still like to read, although I haven't read much in the past year. As you can probably understand, sitting in front of this thing or having my mind blown by all the amazing things that people have to say, the amazing things that people have to talk about. I wish I could do these late at night, just before I go to sleep. It's when my brain is most active, and I struggle so hard to go to sleep because it is so active. And I have so much at those points that I want to say, and it all makes so much sense in there. And now I'll sit down here and whoof, I cannot bring it forth. Does that make sense? Trying, maybe I'm trying too hard. Maybe it's lack of practice. That's what I hope. I have interests in vast areas of all sorts of subjects. These are some of my most favourite, these books I've shown you today. Terry Pratchett, Truckers, Diggers, Wings. They're not very big books. They're not children's books. They won't take long to read. If you don't read those two, read this one. Listen to the audio book. Maybe I'll read it myself. some of these other books, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure I would recommend some of these anymore. I'm not even sure I recommend this, in so much as I just think it contains a bit more information than perhaps that does. This book and his others contain information found in here. You see that? Found it in here. But this is not what people think it is. I don't think so. I don't think so. What's missing? What's missing? I don't think it's this. But a Bible for all the people. A Bible for all the people. Must have one. And that's what, isn't that what life's all about, isn't it? Life is all about seeing. Don't get me wrong, you know. It ain't all. Not by far. But I could take this book anywhere in the world and I could have a conversation with someone about that. About that. If I take this to fucking Somalia, deepest fucking Peru, how am I going to have a conversation with anyone about this? All these billions of letters and magic words and magic numbers. You wonder why there's so many problems? It's because this ain't the right book. This is not the right book. I think there's an older one. I think there is an illustrated one. An illustrated Bible? What are you talking about? Illustrated Bible. What do you see? What do you see? How do we all work? Oh no, there are some that don't have this wonder. These people that are born blind and have diseases and lose their sight. But I could explain that easier to a blind man. Than I could that. All in words. Now granted, a blind man can listen. The blind man can't see. Do you see how this world works these days? Do you see any images of God? I do. I see images of God everywhere. It's not the God I like. It's not a God I want. I see not my God, but I see something, and it's not what everybody else sees. I was told a long time ago that I beat to a different drum than everybody else. And I knew this before I was told. I know. In future episodes, I'm going to show you my art, talk about specific things. Once again, this didn't go as I wanted it to go today. I sat here and spoke for an hour and a half and didn't realise I weren't broadcasting at all. Great, had to start again. See what you can find out about Fritz Zwicky and his spherical bastards. The man who first came up with dark matter. I should go a little bit further into some of these magazines and some of their articles. Some of these older National Geographics. The strange connection between the Romans, and everything. They got their fingers in all the pies. If not all the pies in all the hands. I don't see things the same as a lot of people in the Flat Earth discussion going on. But I don't see it like everybody around me. I've known for a long time that, yeah, I'll beat to a different drum. And I kind of curse the lady who said that to me in some ways, but you know, she didn't tell me anything I didn't know, and yet since she told me that, it's almost like I've been forced to acknowledge and live life to a different beat. I'm not sure if I like it sometimes. I am alone, though I am not lonely. Thanks, Robert De Niro. I was the only son with 7 sisters. And I was smack in the middle, you know, 3 older, 4 younger. I had my own room while they all had to share. I got to sit in the front seat of the car, and the girls didn't. Even the older ones. I got to stay up later. You know, I got my freedom to go out at a bit of an earlier age than the girls did. I always lived kind of separate. I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't know. I'm not sure God plays games. And there's a lot of people talking about this synchronicity thing. This synchronicity thing is games. God doesn't play games. Someone may be playing games, but it ain't God. Whatever that is. I hate that fucking word. language has been taken from us. Kinda. I no longer think that people have the ability to express themselves. I mean, even I don't, and I've got more words than most. But I'm out of practice, I know that. But people just don't know how to express themselves at all anymore. You can see it, that people are not stopping to think. And yeah, you know, I was sitting on my arse for the last 10-15 years with sporadic work and illness and what have you. And sitting on my arse has made me see the world in a different way. And I want other people to see the world in the way I see it. But they don't want to stop. They don't know how to stop. And we've been given some tools, and these tools are useless. They're ineffective in countering the opposition we face. They are inadequate, the words I have. I know people are being played by their emotions. Their emotions are ruling their lives. While others, it's their logic. Their logic rules their lives. You know, they become the scientists, the teachers. And then you get the workers. My God, those workers, it might not look like it, but I tell you, they care the most. They might not know a lot, but they fucking care. And then there's this whole world of people in between. I want to speak more about language, about English, about how it's been used to divert, not convert or anything, but to divert. I want to talk about Nikola Tesla and just why his ideas were suppressed, and whether it really was just about the money. I fully accept that there's greed in there. I'm not sure that money is the whole reason for that greed. And I'm afraid I don't believe in your devil, the evil. I know it ain't him. I know it ain't that. I know it, even if others don't. It's the oldest trick in the book. The good and evil argument. The God and the devil argument. The oldest trick in the book. Yeah, the book. And someone took that illustrated book took all the emotion from it and turned it into a logic book. What they thought was logic, obviously. It doesn't make much logic sense these days, but when it was written and whatever, it made logical sense to those that were writing each part. Unless they're all fucking liars, of course, which I don't put beyond the possibility. want to talk about the free energy thing very much. I don't think that what people think is going on is what is going on. How do I explain that? I can't. Sitting here in a room talking to myself again. I can connect it all, you know. I can see the connections. I cannot verbalize them. And I'm not a good enough artist to illustrate what I want to say. Okay, so friends trivia quiz next time. David Gemmell trivia, not a quiz, just some trivia. I thank you for listening if you stayed. I'm sorry it's once again a pants video. I shall continue to try. Peace out.